saw the man inside the house. One of the perks of my job is constant travel. I've been lucky enough to visit places like Greece and Italy, but most of my work keeps me inside the US. A few years back, I had to travel to a remote mountain area in the northeast, deep in the Adirondacks. If you've ever been there during fall, you know how surreal it feels. The trees look like they're on fire with color, like something straight out of a fantasy world. Normally my company books hotels, but this time I wanted isolation. So I rented a quiet cabin through Airbnb, hidden in the woods overlooking a mountain slope. It looked perfect, peaceful, exactly what I needed. The first night was calm. I had a drink on the deck, enjoyed the silence and went to bed early. But the next morning something felt off. While jogging the nearby trails, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me. You know that instinct, you can't see anything, but your body just knows. I brushed it off as nerves. Back at the cabin, I kept hearing faint sounds, creaks, subtle movements, but I told myself it was normal. Old wooden houses always make noise. That evening, I stayed out longer than usual. I didn't want to admit it, but I was nervous about going back. Still, eventually, I had no choice. I locked every door, checked them 3 times, tried to sleep, but sleep didn't come easy. Every small noise pulled me awake again. Around midnight, I gave up. I decided to step outside for a smoke. As I walked downstairs into the dark living room, something stopped me cold. There was a shape in the kitchen. At first, I thought it was just shadows, until I turned on the light. A man was standing there, tall, messy hair, thick beard, just staring at me. Neither of us moved. Then, suddenly, he charged. I ran. I barely made it back to my room and locked the door. My hands were shaking as I called the police. Then, the banging started. Violent hits against the door. And his voice. He kept saying he loved me, that he needed me back. I had never seen this man before in my life. The door started breaking. Then, sirens. Right before he got through, the police burst in and tackled him. Later I learned the truth. He was the homeowner's ex, and somehow he had been living inside the house for days, inside a closet, watching, waiting. If I hadn't gone downstairs at that exact moment, I might never have woken up again. Rehook. But that wasn't the only Airbnb stay that turned into a nightmare. The next one might have been planned from the start. Story 2. The late night delivery. About 2 years ago, I travelled out of state for a job interview, around a 5-hour drive. Instead of heading home after, my fiancée suggested I stay overnight. She booked me an Airbnb close to the interview location. The host seemed friendly, even gave me early access so I could prepare. Everything felt normal. The interview went well. I grabbed food, came back and decided to relax for the night. I didn't even sleep in the bed. I crashed on the couch watching a movie. Around 11:30 p.m, the doorbell rang. At first I thought it was part of the movie, then it rang again, and again. I checked outside. A skinny man stood there, holding a small brown bag. I opened the door slightly. He said, "Pizza delivery," but there was no pizza, just a bag. I told him he had the wrong house and shut the door. Then he rang again. Same voice, same line. "I have your pizza." Now I was irritated. I yelled at him to leave. He finally walked away. Or so I thought. A few minutes later, I looked outside. His car was still there, engine running, lights on. So I went outside to confront him. But when I reached the car, it was empty. No driver, no one inside. I ran back into the house and locked everything. Minutes later, I saw him again from upstairs, walking back to the car. From the direction of the house, that's when I realized he hadn't left. He had been around the house, watching, maybe trying to get in. The next morning, I found something worse. The front door was slightly open, and outside, that same brown paper bag. I never checked what was inside, I just left, fast. Later, I told the host everything. He started typing a reply, then never responded again. And eventually, that Airbnb listing disappeared. If you think that's disturbing, wait until you hear what happened to a family who thought they were dealing with ghosts.